Hello everybody, welcome back to Basics. I am your host, The Crazy Uncle. Today we're going to go back to the whole bugging in and bugging out because there's a section here that I didn't add before. But here's the basics over bugging in or out when it comes to family, because these are extra considerations. Now, to make this simple, I'm going to say that the person doing the planning is a man. Main reason is because the majority of people who do the prepping are male. Fight me if you want, but I've seen the stats. So, how do you deal with family who's going to be bugging in and out? Okay, there's special considerations on each one. First one I'm going to talk about is your spouse, the wife. Now, for them, for women, there are obvious certain things you need to take care of. Or I should say they need to take care of. I do recommend having whatever you need for your bug out bag to get to your location. Whatever personal hygiene items she needs as far as feminine area is concerned, that she double the amount. Whatever she says she needs, double the amount. She said she needs 1 pack, get 2. That stuff is not hard to carry. Might be a little bulky depending on what she's got, but it does work. The stuff you can actually scrub out in a river and reuse after you dry it is actually a lot better. So you have to remember that, okay? A lot of guys forget this one. And I guarantee your wife is going to want to kick your ass, and she just might in that situation. And don't forget, she's probably going to be holding a loaded firearm. Just keep that in mind. So, along with that, I do recommend a couple sweet, preferably chocolate items for the spouse. This is a luxury item for them, and also a small flask, as I mentioned in another video, with some alcohol in it. Preferably something that's really strong so you don't need much. These small luxury items will take the edge off of whatever you're dealing with. Alright? It's very important that you take the sharper edge off of that because you don't need everything to cut as deep. I know, odd metaphor, but you get my point. Alright, the next one is children. Now, this is actually broke down in different things. And before I go too far, bugging in and out as far as the spouse goes, that's pretty much the same. Okay, bugging in just means you have more on standby. Bugging out just means you're carrying more. There you go. By the way, put the chocolate in Mylar. Don't just hold on to the candy bar. It will go bad. Those things aren't sealed. In any case, when it comes to children, all right, very important. You see I got this broke down: infant, prepubescent, and teens. Okay, it's very important that you understand this. For infants, if they're still nursing and you need to walk, your wife is not going to be able to produce as much milk as she used to. She's going to be blowing through fluid so freaking fast, it's insane. Also, you need to be able to carry enough diapers, reusable. I think in Europe they call them nappies, if I say that right. You need something that you can reuse because those things they're not heavy, but they are bulky. Oh my God, unless you're bugging out in a vehicle and you know for certain that you're using a vehicle, you're not going to be able to carry enough. I guarantee that. So you need to have something that's reusable, something that you can stop at a river, wash out, you got something else to use while that dries, and you're good to go. Talk to any of those stores that sell that stuff, and they should be able to help you out. Not a problem. So keep that in mind. Also, extra formula. I know some of you just want straight on the breast milk, but again, if you're walking and you're under a lot of stress, women, if you're watching this, you're not going to be able to produce nearly as much as you normally do. Okay, it is what it is. It's fairly common. Okay, it took me like 30 seconds worth of searching to see if that was true, because I heard that, and it was like the first 10 things that came up. So, keep that in mind. Of course, you're going to have some extra small clothes because you can't always just wrap them up in one of your t-shirts, because I know that's what a lot of you guys would plan on doing. Will it work? Yes. Will it work for the long haul? Fuck no. You're also going to have some small sandals or something for them of different sizes. This one should be something small, easy, and cheap. Okay, because as you know, children grow really quick. Now, prepubescent, oddly enough, this is where it actually gets difficult. This is the one that's going to take me a minute to explain, because when you're bugging out, they're going to be kind of understanding what's going on, but a lot of them just won't fully get it. So for those, just like the spouse, you need something just to lift their spirits a little bit. Some hard candy for them to suck on, some gum to chew on. You know, if you're bugging out in a vehicle, some coloring books, something. You know, maybe old school because nowadays everybody's got a DVD player in their vehicle. Something to keep their mind away from how beyond screwed up things are. Now, also with that, when it comes to bugging in, this is where it gets very interesting because these kids get bored very easily. Very easily, especially if you have a grid down type of situation where there's no electricity. If you don't, you need to have things like board games on standby, decks of cards, Uno cards, things of that nature. Don't teach them Texas Hold'em. Just don't. They don't need to be friggin' wasting money that way. Regardless, you need to have something that's going to keep their attention once you're done moving. Or if you're bugging in, you're not moving at all. There's a lot of downtime in that situation. I've done this before where you've actually had to sit there and, case in point, ask anybody who's been to a hunting cabin and they filled their tags the first day but they're not going home for 2 weeks. They're sitting there bored out of their mind. They'll drink like 2 cases of beer just because they're bored. Granted, the guy that runs the outhouse like 6 times in an hour, but still. You need something to keep their mind occupied. Now, I say board games, however, here's a kicker. We're in the information age. You can get a laptop loaded up with a bunch of games, these strategy games that take weeks to finish, even if you're playing them all day, would be wonderful. As long as you have a way of recharging the battery, boom, you're good to go. All right? And now, as teenagers, that's not such a big deal. They can sit and talk with you at candlelight and things like that. Again, having a few little luxury items is fine, and it will really bring up their spirits if, say, they're 14, 15 years old, and again, you have to bug out, and they've been going all day, and they haven't complained, but it's really dragging on them. Put a little bit of that liquor in a glass, hand it to them. They'll appreciate feel the burn that they're going to get, but they'll also appreciate the fact that you actually look at them more as an adult. It's also going to help them sleep, as if they're going to need that. But as you know, if you haven't worked your legs in a long time and you go out for a long 6-8 hour hike, when you lay down, your legs are going to cramp up so bad you're going to want to squeal. I don't mean scream, I mean squeal. You'll let out sounds that just make you go, what the fuck was that? So, keep that in mind, okay? I'm not going to go super deep into it. Again, each of these could be its own video. I'm not going to do that because this is back to basics. This isn't anything else. Now, I do want to hit on this one down here, which my hands are all sweaty, so it's kind of whatever. Additional family members. Do you know if you're going to have additional family members in this situation? Are you the bug out location where people are going to show up? Do they have females that are post-pubescent? I don't even think that's the right word, but you get what I mean. Do you need to have extra of the feminine hygiene shit? And by the way, make sure you have the stuff to maintain that area. If you don't know what I'm talking about, ask your wife. I'm not going to get into it. Okay? Because they have a whole slew of different problems where if you can't just run down to the local CVS or Walgreens or whatever to get some creams or whatnot, it makes for a bad day. But do they have additional children? Now the kicker is, if you have board games and you have a lot of kids, they'll actually spend most of their day playing the board games, especially if you're like snowed in by a blizzard. So just remember that one. But again, infants are still going to take a lot of attention. At least one person needs to be with them pretty much the whole time. But keep that in mind while you're preparing your bug out and bug in, because a lot of times people get tunnel vision. You lock in and it's just something that happens and you're like, here's what I need. Well, guess what? It's not just you most of the time. Now, me personally, if I'm going to be doing this, I have to be ready because I'm the only one who thinks about shit like this in my entire family. And they're going to be coming to me. So I need to be ready for all this. Am I ready? That's none of your fucking business. You know, it would be nice if I didn't lose all my firearms in a horrible boating accident in Lake Superior. Maybe I'll get my scuba gear and go down there one of these days. But until then, this is your crazy uncle. I hope this helped you out. But for now, I'm out.